Kern Valley State Prison would first open its doors in 2005 and now houses more than 3,300 minimum, medium, maximum, and high security incarcerated individuals. Kern Valley State Prison over the last few years has become one of the most violent prisons in the state of California. Such was the case when on May 13th, 2024 at approximately 2:19 p.m., two incarcerated individuals, Andrew L. Espinoza and Frank Vasquez, would allegedly attack fellow incarcerated individual Raul E. Mendoza. Multiple puncture wounds were found on Raul E. Mendoza's persons, and although life-saving measures were put into place, Mendoza would pass away 2 days later on May 16th at 1:06 p.m.
Two inmates are suspected of fatally stabbing a third at Kern Valley State Prison. That's according to prison officials who say 30-year-old Raul Mendoza died yesterday of multiple puncture wounds suffered during an attack that occurred Monday at the Delano prison. The California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation says 29-year-old Andrew Espinoza and 44-year-old Frank Vasquez are the ones accused of stabbing Mendoza with inmate-manufactured weapons. Both men have been moved to restricted housing while the investigation continues. Officials say Mendoza was serving 11 years for voluntary manslaughter, while Espinoza is serving a sentence of more than 7 years for carjacking and evading a police officer. Vasquez serving life without parole for murder.
Well, the wireless signal at Kern Valley State Prison must be pretty good, as a number of inmates apparently want to use it. According to a recent court filing, staff at the Delano prison seized boxes on July 1st shipped through FedEx and found 85 cell phones inside. The phones were shipped in 6 boxes addressed to 3 inmates. Investigators said the phones have an approximate prison value of $425,000. It is a misdemeanor to own a unauthorized cell phone in prison.
A corrections officer with Kern Valley State Prison is facing charges for allegedly providing cell phones to inmates and performing sexual acts. Court documents reveal that 25-year-old Brittany Sampson is facing 3 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor for reportedly providing controlled substances and phones and receiving bribes from inmates' family members. The investigation started last year, and documents reveal that Sampson admitted to bringing narcotics into the prison, and she was involved in a sexual relationship with several inmates. The Department of Corrections is investigating Sampson's involvement with bringing drugs and phones into the prison. We'll bring you the latest details on this investigation tonight on 23 ABC News at 11.
Mike Boudreau, I'm the sheriff of Tulare County. I want to give you a briefing in regards to a violent gang that we have dismantled here in Tulare County. Operation Stray Bullet is what we have given the title to this operation. Around 4:30 this morning, the Tulare County Sheriff's Office, in partnership with the DEA, FBI, and the Visalia Police Department, ended a 5-month investigation into a violent gang in the northern part of Tulare County, specifically in the areas of Orosi and Cutler. This violent gang and their members we have been targeting for the last 5 months, are responsible for over 30 drive-by shootings. Some of these being reported and some of them not being reported because the victims are just too fearful in reporting these crimes. The gang consisted of the Norteño Criminal Street Gang and associates who were involved in crimes in the city of Visalia, Orosi, and Cutler areas. Our investigators were able to identify the structure of the gang, which was primarily being ran by our suspect Edward Moran out of Cutler. Moran and his associates were responsible for numerous drug sales, gun sales, shootings, and also conspired with the fellow gang members to commit robberies, home invasions, and conspiracy to commit murder. Our investigation truly intensified when an 8-year-old girl was shot in Seville last September. She was rushed to the hospital, but we're happy she's recovered and doing very well. Our deputies actually delivered Christmas presents to her a few weeks ago during Christmas time, and she was all smiles. So we're happy to report that she's doing well. Through our investigation, we were able to identify Jorge Barajas as the suspect in the shooting of that little girl, and he's in custody today. This morning, nearly 300 law enforcement officers and personnel from agencies throughout Tulare, Kings, Fresno, and Kern counties, along with federal agents with the DEA, 25 search warrants in Farmersville, in the cities of Farmersville, Visalia, Tulare, Cutler, Orosi, and Orange Cove, as well and state arrest warrants. As a result, 25 people, including 2 juveniles, were arrested, some on federal charges and others on state charges, all of whom are part of the Norteño criminal street gang and associates. Among those arrested today, as mentioned before, Jorge Barajas, the main suspect in the shooting of the 8-year-old girl. The violent gang members arrested face charges ranging from drug sales, gun sales, shootings, to conspiracy to commit robberies, home invasions, and conspiracy to commit murder, as mentioned before. During this 5-month investigation, we have seized over 12 pounds of methamphetamine, 150 pounds of processed marijuana, a half a pound of black tar heroin, 18 firearms, 4 assault rifles, a grenade, 2 silencers, and 2 stolen vehicles. At this time, I'd just really like to thank our law enforcement counterparts, specifically to the DEA, FBI, Homeland Security, ATF. We have Chief Jason Salazar here up with us today as our partner from the Visalia Police Department, as well as SWAT teams from as far away as Bakersfield, Porterville, and the Tulare Police Department, the Visalia Police Department, the Kern County Sheriff's Office, Kings County Sheriff's Office, and the Central Valley Task Force. Every police agency in Tulare County participated in this operation today, and we are thankful for our law enforcement partners. I'm also happy to report that no officers or any suspects were injured during the course of
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Green Lit Gang TV. Much love, much appreciation. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel today. Welcome back. If you are someone who is new to the channel, I really hope you enjoy the video. Thank you for taking time to watch it. If you like what you see and like what you hear, don't hesitate. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe. It means a lot. If you are someone who is a returning member to this channel, then you already know how much I appreciate all the continued support. I am nothing without the people that have helped my channel grow to where it's at today. And lastly, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, hit the like button, hit the comment button, engage in some conversation. And lastly, please subscribe. It means a lot if you subscribe. It really, really does. If you've been following my channel at all, then you know the goal for this year was 20,000 subscribers. And at this rate, we should be hitting that sooner rather than later. Okay, so we're going to be sticking with the same theme so far in 2025. We're going to be covering a murder out of Kern Valley State Prison in Delano, California. And this happened basically a year ago in the middle of May of 2024. 2 guys took out a third individual. We're going to be going into the background of one of the alleged attackers. I got a little background on the victim. The attackers in this case, Andrew Espinoza and Frank Vasquez, they were Norteño gang members. The victim, Raul Mendoza. Okay, now, I wanted to throw it in the title, but I just couldn't verify it, and I'm not going to say something unless I am absolutely sure. I saw some comments that said that Raul Mendoza was a Compton Barrio Tortilla Flats member. I think it's true, but again, I could not 100% verify it. Sometimes it's really hard to get the background information on these guys. I found some decent background information on Frank Vasquez, one of the perpetrators. And then, as you see in the video, I got some good information on Kern Valley State Prison. Kern Valley State Prison is becoming violent. It is a very violent prison. It seems to be one of the more reoccurring ones that I cover these attacks and these prison homicides out of. So let's jump right into it here. This is from an article from the CDCR's website. California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation officials are investigating the death of an incarcerated person at Kern Valley State Prison as a homicide. On Monday, May 13th, 2024, at approximately 2:19 p.m., 2 incarcerated people, Andrew L. Espinoza and Frank Vasquez, allegedly attacked another incarcerated person, Raul E. Mendoza. 2 inmate-manufactured weapons were recovered at the scene. Mendoza sustained multiple puncture wounds and life-saving measures were performed. He was taken to an outside medical facility for a higher level of care where he remained until he succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced deceased on May 16th at 1:06 p.m. No staff or additional incarcerated people were injured. Both suspects have been moved to restricted housing pending investigation into this case. Officials have limited population movement on the yard to facilitate the investigation being conducted by KVSP Investigative Services Unit, the Kern County District Attorney's Office, and the Kern County Coroner. The Office of the Inspector General was notified, and the Kern County Coroner will determine Mendoza's official cause of death. Mendoza And we're going to get into his background a little bit. I was able to get a little information. 30. He was received from LA County on June 15th, 2015, sentenced to 2 years, 8 months for carrying a loaded firearm in public while active in a gang, a second strike offense. Now you would say, well, he should be out by now. This is now 2024. No, because he picked up another conviction also in LA County on November 3rd, 2016 to 11 years for voluntary manslaughter with an enhancement for use of a firearm. And guys, this is what we talk about, man. People just, and not saying he picked these up in custody, but he picks these charges up and the system will bury you. And, you know, if it was just the first charge from June of 15, he'd be out by 18, 19. But because he had the other charge, 11 years, now he's here in May of 2024 when he gets his life taken. He was getting towards the end of his sentence. And yeah. Now, really quick with Mendoza. I read a lot. I read through the comment sections. I read through, court paperwork, everything. I came across a comment on another video, and it was in regards to Raul Mendoza. And this was from basically it looked like a family friend or someone who knew Raul Mendoza's family. And it reads like this. This is so hard to process and sad, but also upsetting. Raul was a transfer there to finish his sentence and was to go home to his mom and sisters this July. My heart aches because this is someone whom I have known for many years. He was a good young man who turned his life around and was finishing his sentence. No one deserves to take another human being's life, and I agree with that. The officers took too effing long to attend to Raul, and that's why he is gone. No parent should bury their child. I know few would say if he was a good person, why is he in jail? Well, when we are young and stupid, I think is what she meant to say, we get caught in things and have to pay the price for that. And he did this time and was about to go home. The officers should be more cautious, but some choose to turn the other way, like WTF. My deepest condolences to his mom. This is becoming a norm, and this prison allows this S word to continue to happen. I hope his mom sues the S out of them. So, there were some mixed feelings on this. Some people responded back to her saying, kind of like she said, well, if he was so good, why do you do this? Why do you do this? And then there was another comment that said, and it actually goes along with what she's saying, how he was transferred. Well, the comment was basically that Raul Mendoza had come from Vasquez State Prison, that he basically had locked it up, that he was no longer a GP inmate. He was like on an SNY yard. And this is where it gets confusing for a channel like mine because like Kern Valley State Prison and other prisons, they're doing so much of the 50-50 stuff where they're crossing GP inmates with SNY inmates. I tend to believe that, he probably did lock it up at Vasquez State Prison, which I'm not giving an opinion either way. The guy was almost done with his sentence. He wanted to go home to his family. I respect that. All right. He was getting there. He was getting to the end of it. And unfortunately, he did not make it out. I really wish I could find more information on if he was the Compton, the Barrio Tortilla Flats member. I really wanted to put that in the video. I dug for that, but I could not verify it. If someone out there is watching and knows and seeing this video right now and knows for sure, please comment down below. I would love to know that for sure. But the guy had a family, man. The guy's life was taken out. And no, I don't think anybody, and I do agree with one thing, no one deserves to take another person's life. No one has the right to do that. No matter what you think about people that are behind bars or locked up, they do have people that love them. And I agree with what she said too. He did his time. He was finishing his time for these crimes, and he was getting ready to go home and start the next chapter of his life. Okay, so continuing. Espinoza, Andrew L. Espinoza, 29 years old, was received from Los Angeles County on February 8th, 2023, sentenced to 7 years, 4 months for carjacking and evading or attempting to evade a peace officer while driving recklessly, both second strike offenses. Now, the oldest one out of this group, Vasquez, and probably the most violent and serving the longest sentence. This is Frank Vasquez, 44 years old. Norteño gang member was received from Tulare County on December 1st, 2015, sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for first-degree murder and second-degree robbery. He also received enhancements for intentional discharge of a firearm causing great bodily injury. And I was able to get an article on his background, his previous crime. This is an article from July 1 of 2015. A Tulare County jury found a Lindsay man guilty of the first-degree murder of Juan Ochoa Ibarra, 34, of Plainview. Frank Vasquez, who was 35 at the time, will be sentenced on August 27th in Porterville. He faces life in prison without the possibility of parole. According to court documents, Vasquez attempted to buy drugs off the victim's roommate in Plainview on November 28th, 2014, but was refused. He returned to the residence with a shotgun and approached the victim, the victim's roommate, and the victim's cousin, who were sitting outside. Quote, "Give me everything you have," Vasquez said, according to the testimony. Unwilling to wait for his demand to be met, Vasquez shot Ibarra at a range of 4 to 6 feet and took his wallet. And you can imagine 4 to 6 feet in range with a shotgun, what that did. That's brutal. Vasquez then fled the area and was arrested 6 days later in Monterey County. The conviction came with special allegations that the murder was committed during a robbery and that a firearm was used, causing death. Vasquez was also found guilty of 1 count of second-degree robbery and 1 count of being a felon in possession of a firearm. Vasquez, this is interesting. He actually represented himself at trial. The case was prosecuted by Deputy District Attorney Benjamin Tosca, and obviously he ended up losing. But crazy story. Frank Vasquez was from Tulare County. I put those videos up of one of the big gang busts out of Tulare County. Just giving you an idea, man, of some of these counties, some of these areas. They are so heavily gang infested and gang ran. The amount of violence and the amount of just everything that comes with that is truly overwhelming to law enforcement and the people that live there. Tulare County is another one that I'm always covering. I'm always seeing. So many of these individuals that I cover in my stories are from that 559, that area code, from that area. And just absolutely crazy what's going on right now in California, guys. I really want you, if this is one of the first times you've seen a video like mine, just check out what's going on within the California prison system. They are on track right now to have double the amount of murders as last year, and it's only going to get worse as summer, as we come into summer. I mark my words on that. But anyway, there you guys have it. A little bit of a shorter one, a quicker one for you guys today, but I'm always going to bring you guys the content, always going to bring you guys these videos. And until next time, you already know what it is. Peace.